We welcome you to sunny San Diego, site of the 2019 USA Ultimate Club National Championships. And our quadruple header of Saturday semifinal coverage begins in the women's division with two dynamic programs, Boston Brute Squad and San Francisco Fury. They've met in the championship game each of the past 2 years. This is a semifinal, though. It may feel like a final, however, because of the carnage on the other side of the bracket. Absolute shockers unfolding on Friday afternoon with Sixers and Schwa taking down Riot and Molly Brown. Sixers a big winner over Schwa in the other women's semi early this morning. So it'll be Sixers against either their regional rival Brute Squad or the top team in the country all season long, Fury. With Megan Tormey and Ian Toner down in the field, I'm Evan Lepler. It's great to be back with you for the national championships. The women's division caused everybody to just be overwhelmed and flabbergasted by the results yesterday. Business as usual, though, for Fury and Brute Squad.
Right. The hiccups that we've seen from Brute Squad earlier this season have clearly been smoothed out. They were looking fantastic. The precision we have seen from Fury all season long still on display. No team scored more than 9 points against Fury in the tournament so far.
Boston Brute Squad, of course, won back-to-back national titles before they lost back-to-back titles on Universe Point. A few points go differently, Megan, and they're looking for their 5th consecutive title, which seems impossible, but of course Fury won 7 in a row a decade ago. What has impressed you about how Brute Squad has turned things around?
Well, I just am constantly impressed with how they can mentally stay strong when facing such tough opponents like Fury. They don't let it get them down. They just focus on the micro changes that they can make and then come back full force the next tournament.
Came in as the 5 seed, but leaving little doubt they're among the top 4 teams in the country, and many of the same faces are back making plays, including Cami Groom.
What a playmaker Brute Squad has in Cami Groom. She is so good at dissecting the field and finding the most efficient path to the disc. It allows her to register so many blocks for the team, and then she's often the fastest one down the field, scoring a large number of bookends for Brute Squad.
She'll have her hands full today going against the most iconic program this century, San Francisco Fury. Of course, won their first title back in '99, but it has been a remarkable run for head coach Maddie Sang, and it's a team of superstars, Megan. But Carolyn Finney, she's a captain. She's taken on a leadership role. It feels like her team now. She plays that way on the field.
It's really unfair that an offense as powerful as Fury has a thrower like Carolyn Finney, but there she stands throwing some absolute dimes for Fury. It's not just her execution that's impressive, but the speed with which she makes the decisions. She'll get the disc, turn, and fire away. It makes her an absolutely lethal thrower for Fury.
It's hard to believe that Fury's offense has gotten more aggressive these past couple years. Finney is a huge reason why. Well, we've got 4 semifinals coming at you from now until late tonight. The first women's semi gets our day started. Boston Brute Squad, San Francisco Fury, here at Nationals. Opening poll coming up next. The USA Ultimate National Championships are brought to you by Discraft, home of the Ultra Star, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Now featuring an updated website to make ordering custom discs easier than ever. Visit discraft.com for all your custom disc needs. Starting lineup for Boston Brute Squad features the dynamic 7 players that we've seen together for a long time, although Juliana Werfeli has made the move mainly from D-line to O-line. That's the main change with Hoffman, Malinowski, Schwam, Grignon, Thomas, Tajima, and Sinecrope for longtime coach Ariel Jackson, now assisted by Rob Brazil. For San Francisco Fury, this just looks like an ultimate all-star team, doesn't it? Sarah Surge Griffith, the former Riot star, now in her 2nd year on Fury. Opie Payne, she's played for a lot of good teams in the division. With Austin Narayan, the aforementioned Finney, Anna Nazaroff, and Anna Reed, 2 speedy handlers for Maddie Sang. Plenty of players who are important to both teams dealing with some injuries, and for more on that, we welcome in Ian Toner down in the field. How you feeling, Ian?
Evan, it's nice and hot down here, a little breezy as well. The injury bug, as you mentioned, has been a challenge for both of these teams. Let's start with San Francisco Fury. Claire Desmond strained her MCL in the Pro Championships final. She's just working her way back into playing shape here. We can only expect to see her playing in some limited offensive points minutes. Sarah Griffith also injured her hamstring at the Pro Championships. Coach Maddie says she's going to be playing in a managed role throughout this game. Also out for this game, Kayla Helton, who pulled her hamstring on the first day, Maggie Rudin, who's been dealing with a chronic ankle injury, and Yelena Gorlin, who was diagnosed with a concussion and has been suffering from some of those symptoms afterwards. On Brute Squad side, Leanne Hoffman has been dealing with a hamstring injury since the U.S. Open. Coach Ariel Jackson says she is close to full strength, and we should expect to see her playing nearly 100% of the points that you'd expect from her in this game.
It's quite an injury report. Thanks so much, Ian. It is a gorgeous day, a little hot down on the field. Hotter than was to be expected. It's supposed to be in the 70s, maybe in the low 80s, but up around 90 right now. Brute Squad receiving the opening pull. Sinacrope tosses to Werfele. Juliana Werfele, one of the handful of Dartmouth stars who have made the smooth transition to the club game. And I think it's really interesting, Megan, that Ariel Jackson says Juliana Werfele, and he says it pretty frankly, has been our best player this year.
Yeah, he mentioned that through the inconsistencies of the team, Jay remained a very consistent force for Brute Squad. And you think about her performance on Dartmouth, how consistent she was for that team as well. You mentioned a smooth transition from college to club. Oftentimes I think of Dartmouth as a club team. They are so fierce and full of firepower.
Angela Zhu, we'll see her on the D-line, former Callahan winner from Dartmouth, and Claire Trope, still a Dartmouth star. Of course, Jacqueline Verjus and the Seattle Riot team falling in shocking fashion after leading 8-5 at the half to Toronto Sixers. That was yesterday. We'll talk more about the Shockers in the women's division as the weekend progresses. Certainly the women's division has not been the only division with some stunning results, and Tajima unable to haul that one in, so the game's first turnover gives the disc to Fury just shy of midfield. And through the hands of Opie Payne. Hoffman picks it up to Malinowski, and no contest from Carolyn Finney on the foul. It's funny, Megan, this is just another chapter between these two great programs, and we've seen a lot of these matchups. You expect all the different playmakers to shine. Tajima bidding full extension to keep it alive. On the first point, we're seeing our fair share of highlights, and we see a pick. Is there a little thing or a couple little things that you have in mind that you think could be the difference today? Because the margins between these two teams the past couple of years, and even this year during the one meeting at Pro Championships, have been minuscule.
I do have to say that the fact that Fury enjoyed such a smooth regular season means that they've been able to focus more on just tightening things up to a larger degree.
Malinowski landing a yard shy of the end zone, but she'll connect with Hoffman. And Brute Squad holds. Bit of a daring throw there from Amber Sinacrope, but trusting her longtime teammate Becky Malinowski to make the play, and she obliged.
Yeah, I think Malinowski had just enough position that she thought with her height, her body awareness, she's going to be able to reel this in. Here's that uncharacteristic turnover from Opie. Great layout from Sinacrope. And the second layout from Claudia Tajima to keep the disc alive.
One is good, two is better.
Yep, as you said, a daring put, but liking Malinowski's field position. And then just a quick little dish to a Hoffman who's not displaying much of a hamstring injury with that cut in.
Leanne Hoffman did not play in the only meeting in the regular season between Brute Squad and Fury. That was in Pennsylvania at the Pro Championships. Day one, round one of that event on kind of the hidden backfields that were more hilly than ultimate fields typically are. I'm not sure there's a whole lot that can be gleaned from that result, which was a one-goal win for Fury. Leanne Hoffman has been a centerpiece of this Brute Squad run through the past half decade. We were talking about it with the two head coaches. There's something that feels a little routine about these two programs being here in the semifinals. I mean, this is the 15th year in a row for Fury in the semifinals. Boston Brute Squad in their 6th consecutive semifinal. And a Fury turnover gives Brute Squad a chance at a short field on their first D point. Angela Zhu, the former Dartmouth Callahan winner, will scoop it up 30 yards from the end zone. Stall count rising. She rips it cross field and it works. Cami Groom is there. The bidding Bethany Kaler came up just short trying to poach off, and it's Brute Squad in front 2-zip.
This is exactly how you want the beginning of the game to go for Brute Squad. A careless mistake from Fury. They don't give you those often, and then capitalizing oh so quickly, not even giving Fury a hope to regain possession. Look at that forehand throw high above the stack. No one can possibly defend it. Cami Groom has steps on her person. A nice and easy score for Boston Brute Squad.
You know, I'm not sure there's a better high stall count thrower in the division than Angela Zhu. And it's what she did a lot in college. You know, she was such a centerpiece with Juliana Werfele as well in the Dartmouth backfield, and obtained such responsibility in this Boston D-line early in her career. Just remarkable what she has done. She's still just 23 in her 6th year on the Brute Squad roster.
You know, that's a fair point, and I think what Zhu does particularly well is assessing where in the field her teammate stands the greatest chance of getting the disc. It helps that she has the capacity to put on so much zip on her throw, but she'll get it out to space where she thinks there's a great enough chance for a Brute Squad player.
Finney shooting deep for Desmond. The disc hangs up, but not long enough and a little too far. And a first throw turnover from Fury after the Brute Squad pull intentionally rolled out of bounds to the sideline.
You know, we talked a little bit about Fury's offense. I think the thing that Fury does incredibly well is working off of pull plays where they have momentum. The last couple of turnovers, it doesn't look like they've had the kind of cuts already churning that they like, which has led to those two very fast first throw turnovers.
Looks like Zhu will hang on to the disc.
It's uncontested. It was in the air. Yep.
Laura Meyer, Jonathan Monforti, Sam Wood, and Amy Kenzyorski are the 4 orange-shirted observers in this women's semifinal today. Yuga Shao in the backfield with Angela Zhu. And looking to get it back to Zhao, but it's Finney who picks it off. Jesse O'Connor in the red zone for Fury. That disc floating up there, but Desmond able to read it well. Pretty good dump defense there from Zhu on Nazaroff. Fury does get the reset, and then it's dropped by Bethany Kaler. Zhao, who had a bunch of great seasons with Philadelphia AMP in the mixed division. She won a championship with AMP on this field a year ago. You see the wind kind of wreaking havoc on a lot of these throws. And Cree Howard picked it off, then shoots it deep, and Finney out-battles Zhao just shy of the goal line to keep possession alive, and then Nazaroff, the clap catch to put Fury on the board.
What an overwhelming point of back and forth. There's the throw. As you said, the wind pushing it up way too high. Cree Howard, Finney, what a battle. And then look at this beautiful inside put. This is a tricky throw to make. And she hits Nazaroff with ease.
Finney and Nazaroff both in their 8th years on Fury. A familiar connection for San Francisco, and just a remarkable catch there, coming back for that disc. 4 turnovers on that point, 2 per side, and you can tell that the throwers on both teams having a little bit of a trouble with the tricky wind. We got Ian Toner down on the sideline. Ian, I can see your hair blowing a little bit. How's it feel down there?
Yeah, I was just checking in on Apple Maps and some of the other resources. It's listed at coming in at 11 miles an hour, but the gusts that are occasionally going from left to right across your screen are definitely a little more intense than that 11-mile-an-hour speed. There's no question that the teams moving from right to left are going upwind. So in this instance, Brute Squad with the disc, they're traveling downwind.
We saw the downwind shot early last point go out the back of the end zone from Finney, looking for Desmond. Claudia Tajima, a little hiccup, but she recovers. Amber Sinacro, a big bluff, and the mark, Kirsten Johnson, was about 15 yards off her as we see the routine layout from Werfele. And then the unfortunate drop from Malinowski. Picked up by Nancy Sun.
Whoa.
Anna Reed able to hang on, tumbling past Werfele. Nancy Sun sneaks it through. Johnson scores the goal. Fury breaks back. We're tied 2-2.
That throw from Werfele had a lot of zip to it and was just a little bit to the inside of Malinowski's right shoulder. Amazing job keeping possession. Anna Reed hangs on, gets it to Nancy Sun, and Nancy Sun finds a nice and narrow lane. Again, a really tough put, that inside throw through what I thought was pretty fantastic Boston Brute Squad end zone defense.
One hold and one break for each team through the first 4 points. Kirsten Johnson, the former star at the University of Colorado. And the assist for the 12-year Fury veteran Nancy Sun. There are a lot of veterans on this Fury team. And yet the experience and savvy, and we got an offsides call, so the pull is going to be rethrown. You see the domination so far through this tournament. The Ozone game was, quite frankly, the trickiest. It was 8-7 at the half before Fury pulled away. Dismantled little sister Nightlock in the quarterfinals, 15-8, a game in which Fury broke it open pretty quickly. And you just look at this Fury roster and the number of veterans they have. I mean, Nancy Sun, Cree Howard, both in their 12th year on the team. Lakshmi Narayan in year 11. You got Claire Desmond, Maggie Rudin, Anna Nazaroff, Carolyn Finney, all in year 8. They've got this tremendous core, and they've certainly added great pieces into it these past few years. We've seen a number of tough grabs made in this game so far. Hoffman that time.
Brute Squad doing a fantastic job of attacking this 4-person cup. That's such an effective move, coming from behind, running in, hopefully not running into the defense as we saw just there. But you notice they're just continuously pushing back, waiting for a lane to open up, as we saw with Leon Hoffman. But Sinacrope and Werfele working together to just push the defense.
Leanne Hoffman with a midfield turnover. Fifth turnover for Brute Squad. Finney with Groom so close defensively. Finney shoots it. Narayan's got it! 3 straight for San Francisco to take their first lead.
That's the kind of drop you're hoping for when you put on a zone like that, making the offense look ahead instead of focusing on the catch. Nothing can be routine against a zone.
Hey, Megan, this is the type of aggressiveness that we maybe haven't seen from Fury in the past, and Finney has been the quarterback of it. Pointing, directing traffic. It's how Maddie Sang wants them to play.
Yeah, the 2 throws that Finney has thrown for a goal, she has dictated where she wants her cutter to cut. This is the spot I see open. This is the throw I have. Go there.
What throw does she not have is the question.
In this moment, this is the throw I
Right.
have.
2 for 3 on break chances for Fury. And Finney has a couple of early assists here in this semifinal. Again, Toronto Sixers awaiting the winner of this one. And just saying that sounds strange because we've had this trend in the women's division each of the past 4 years where it has been the same 4 teams in the semifinals. Brute Squad, Fury, Riot, and Molly Brown. And after Thursday of this tournament, it felt inevitable that we'd have that quartet again. Schwa and Sixers felt differently.
They certainly did. And the one thing I will say is that both of those programs have been looking strong all season. So even though it was an upset, especially when you think about how consistent the women's division has been, those programs have shown that they have strength, they have personnel. The Sixers in particular have been building this for the last 4 years. So it still comes as a surprise, but not an outright shock, just because they've shown they are stars rising.
Perhaps for you, I was outright shocked. I was stunned. Mind-boggling, especially the way each of them happened. I mean, in the Molly Brown-Schwa game, Schwa goes up 8-5 at the half, and then Molly Brown runs off this string of breaks in a row, takes a 2-goal lead in the second half, and you think, okay, they've got this. They're going to take care of it. And then mistakes bubbling up in really tough times. They didn't have the mental strength to finish the job, and Schwa, to their credit, made some unbelievable plays in that game. It was a similar story in the Riot Sixers game. Riot was up 8-5 at the half, up 10-7. They had the disc multiple times to go up 11-7. Unable to do it, becomes 10-8 instead. Sixers build a little momentum, and then all of a sudden they take the lead at 13-12, win the game 14-12, and Riot, for the second time in 3 years, is looking around, wondering what in the world just happened.
True, but I think in the regular season we haven't seen teams who have shown the kind of fight necessary to overcome Molly Brown and Riot when they're having down moments. And this season, I really think both Schwa and Sixers showed the potential to punish those teams. Even though Molly Brown was able to break 6 times, they're still vulnerable. And Sixers this year have shown that they have what it takes to take care of the business.
Nazaroff the D, and then now chasing after the Huck. And not enough float thrown by Kirsten Johnson. Brute Squad second possession of the point. Deep shot, Claire Trope. Not gonna get there. Cassie Wong with a bold decision.
Now I have to say, it is difficult to overthrow Claire Trope. She is exceptionally fast.
So here's Nazaroff, who won the Callahan back in 2007, UCLA. Connecting with Serge Griffith, and now here's Beth Kaler. Julia Butterfield almost overshot Kaler, but now the deep shot not gonna find its way to Griffith, and you can see the wind both on the hucks to our right, a little too far, and that throw got bitten by the wind as well. Oh, what a catch by Wong, with Kaler bidding alongside her. And now Trope had to leave her feet to make the catch. Caitlin Lee, marked by Marissa Mead. Tough one-handed snag from Zhu and a pick downfield halts play.
Are we good? All right, we're great.
Here's Tulsa Douglas. Lee to Trope, a yard out. And Lee finds Groom for Cammie's second goal. We're tied at 3.
Brood Squad showing just a little more patience that possession, and that's the kind of patience that is necessary in this wind. We've seen how many mistakes Fury has made trying to throw against the elements without adjusting enough. And here Brood Squad really taking care of the disc, waiting until a certain look is in front of them before taking the shot.
You know, the domino effect of Juliana Werfele moving from the Brood Squad D-line to O has put more responsibility on Tulsa Douglas's shoulders as a handler on this D-line, and that's responsibility that she's ready for.
Yeah, Douglas has really stepped up and become a name that you recognize on Brood Squad as well. She's a very capable thrower, but capable of taking pause and making the correct decisions, which is so important when you are against a program like Fury. You really have to conserve the disc, and that can be very difficult when the stakes are high, when you're on a bigger stage. And she has just shown the finesse and the patience necessary.
Brood Squad so far this tournament came in as the 5 seed, but their 15-10 win over Sixers was not even that close. They went up 9-1 over the team that beat them in the regional final to earn the 4 seed, relegating Brood Squad to the 2 seed in their pool. But strong wins over Schwa and Pop. And Brood Squad with a victory in the semifinals, or I should say in the quarterfinals over Phoenix to get back to the semis. See, bottom of your screen, Vicky Negus suffered an injury earlier this weekend, so she's on crutches, unavailable. Brood Squad also without JoJo Emerson, who tore her ACL over the summer. Emerson still the Brood Squad Pooh Fall Spirit nominee. She'd come back from another surgery, battling all the way back. Years of chronic back problems to get back, and then the ACL caught her as well. Hope JoJo can recover well and hope to see her again back on the field next year. Tough grab by Finney. Cross field to Howard. Here's Desmond on the doorstep. Through Desmond's hands in the end zone. the play wasn't complete, but what about Carolyn Finney just taking control of this Fury offense?
You know, I want to give Finney credit for her individual effort, but it really reminds me a little bit of what Alex Schneider would do for Fury in the past, just taking charge when it was necessary, keeping the momentum going. They weren't getting those long shots that they were looking for, so she just charged in, making sure that they kept one step ahead of the defense.
Alex Schneider, the 9-time Fury champion, not playing this season. She actually was here at Nationals doing some commentary for Ultiworld, which was great to see. And it certainly was an adjustment for Fury to play without Schneider. The players like Finney and Jessie O'Connor have been great handlers. That one, was it kept alive? Brute Squad says no. Amel Awadel Kareem, been battling injuries, puts the disc down. Now you can look. Oh, wow, that was close.
Yeah. I think that trailing edge touched the turf just a split second before she did.
Sadler dumps it back. Henkin downfield for Aaron Ray. And the reset. A little out of the reach for Henkin, easily intercepted. O'Connor lets it rip. Cree Howard cannot get there. Maybe a slight misread.
Yeah, that as it went off, I thought that was a surefire goal. But the shape of the disc pushed it just a little too far to the far side of the end zone. Cree Howard did not adjust quickly enough.
And obviously, one thing worth mentioning, this is the first game in a stadium that either of these teams have played, so in the way the disc flies through the air, the way both a thrower has to interpret it and a receiver has to read it, a little different. You warm up in it, but not the same as the live reps.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It has been windy this tournament, in particular Thursday. The first round was nice and smooth, and the second round got incredibly windy.
Oh, O'Connor rips it away. What a pickup she has been. One of the underrated transactions this year. O'Connor's block leads to the Fury score as Howard connects with Lou to put Fury in front 4-3.
Look at O'Connor reading that beautifully, just coming to the left side as it starts to trail down so she can grab it. And here we see Fury's offense firing the way it was designed to. Working all the way across the field so that what previously was the unused side of the field has a nice wide open lane for Lou to make that cut. Not a defender in sight.
And a bunch of missed opportunities there for Boston Brute Squad. If you think back, they took a 2-0 lead. They converted their first break opportunity of the game. Since then, they've had 5 break chances, have not gotten any of them. So they're just 1 for 6 on break chances. And you know, sooner or later, Fury's not going to give you that many break chances down the stretch.
Well, that's absolutely true. And I feel like they've been making it more difficult on themselves. It's not exactly something Fury is doing, even though you have to admit Fury's defensive pressure is always tight. They're just not executing their throws the way they need to. Again, this is a different wind than they have faced in the tournament. They need to adjust faster if they want to keep this game tight.
That pull lands inbounds. Brute Squad going downwind. Jesse Grignon-Thomas took off deep. Hoffman takes the reset for Sinacrope, and here coming underneath was Alana Schwamm, and she felt contact from behind. Sharon Lynn there defensively for Fury. No contest on the foul, so Schwamm, another strong season for her on the Brute Squad offense. Sinacro. If you're counting, by the way, this is Amber's 14th year on Brute Squad, and she just turned 30. Wonder if she has 10 years left in her. Can she get to, or 6 years left in her, get to her 20th season on the team? Wouldn't put it past her. Schwamm resets worthily. Fury's turn on the defense here in the red zone. Hoffman able to pivot around Payne and dish the high release backhand for Amber Sinacro. That's a turnover-free hold and the first such point of the game.
Yeah, they really had to fight for it. I mean, how many fakes did we see handlers throw? I think that was Werfeli's third really aggressive fake as she waited for a lane to open up. Earlier we saw Sinacro have to fake continuously until something opened up. Fury was doing an excellent job taking away the lanes. But of course, credit also goes to Boston for maintaining patience through that pressure.
Sinacro has had so many memorable moments in a Brute Squad jersey. Say the same thing for Leanne Hoffman. Now, this is the third and final leg of the Triple Crown Tour. And there will not be a Triple Crown winner in the women's division this year because Boston Brute Squad won the US Open, and then San Francisco Fury won the Pro Championships. Brute Squad didn't even make it to the semis at the Pro Championships, which is at the time was pretty shocking. Ariel Jackson said there's a lot of things that they've worked on, emphasizing a handful of things, the way they run the handler set, the way they read through their progressions downfield. And all those regular season tournaments are nice, but this is the one that really defines how teams will be remembered. Claire Trope poaching off to come up with a block on the shot intended for Megan Liu.
It's clear Finney did not see Trope lying in wait in the end zone.
Cassie Wong, that air-mailed on her. And off the hands of her teammate Nicole Canning. Finney to Griffith. And her throw dug out by Johnson. Grun said it was down. Observers have not ruled yet. Looked up from here.
Looked up from here, yeah.
Looked like a good catch for Johnson on the replay. And San Francisco Fury converts again. It is great to see Claire Desmond on the field after the scary injury that turned out to be the final play of the Pro Championships. Fury winning a rain, lightning shortened affair. One of the most wild deluges of rain that we've ever seen in an ultimate event in Pennsylvania on Labor Day Monday. Awesome to see Desi back out there. There's her first goal of the game.
Yeah, that was really a scary moment. And as you said, it was the last throw of the game. So really frustrating that it ended up not mattering, that game could have been called a moment earlier, would have spared her the MCL strain. But I'm sure she feels great to be back on the field, getting stats at nationals.
Howard picking up her second assist on the play, and a timeout called. Manny Sang has been in a lot of these huddles through his time. Tried to step away a few years back. and he just couldn't stay away. And I'm not sure he'll be stopping anytime soon. I asked him earlier today how many Fury jerseys he has, and he just laughed and said, I usually give them away, you know, to international teams we play, or when we go to Japan and family hosts us, give them some jerseys. Lined up to coach the USA national team again next year, part of the World Ultimate and Guts Championships that'll be held in the Netherlands next July. That'll be just the second time that USA All-Star teams are sent. WUGC, a once every 4 years event. Back in 2012, the winner of nationals from the previous year basically got to send their team, represent their country at Worlds. 2016, USA Ultimate made the decision to no longer do it that way, and the tryouts were held, and tryouts will be held again, I think in February. Start putting that team together.
I love that that's the way it's done now. Because for so long we only imagined what it would be like to have some of the top players from each team play together. And the USA teams has allowed us to have that dream become a reality.
And just, you know, those tryouts are like at a higher competitive level than nationals in a way. Lane Seedor for Brute Squad dishes back to Jima for Synchro. Looking for Grignon Tomas, who's been pretty quiet so far. Credit the Fury defense for that. Synchro fouled. Both these teams, Megan, are pretty disciplined when it comes down to the small spaces on the field and the way they clear and create space for one another. That time Hoffman made her cut, it wasn't there. Opie Payne with good defense. She cleared decisively, opening the lane for Claudia Tajima to catch the equalizer.
Tajima has been working at a speed I have not seen her yet play. She is just a little bit faster, a little more aggressive. And that's saying a lot because she was already a fast and aggressive player, but I have just been so impressed with the way she is attacking space this tournament.
Are we interviewing at 7 or?
Synchro and Tajima playing well together.
So that's your
5-5 is the score. Fury is up a break. 2 breaks to 1 so far. And as we go down to the field, let's check in with Ian.
Evan, I just spoke with Claire Desmond, and she was saying this is the first time she's ever come into a national championship tournament and been battling a significant injury. So it's a different experience for her. As far as her comfort level out on the field right now, she said that straight line speed feels great. A little lateral movement is a little difficult considering that it's a MCL injury that she's trying to bounce back from, but she feels confident and ready to step out there for whatever her team needs.
Usually the MCL considered a 6 to 8 week injury. Maddie Sank told us if she had 2 more weeks, she'd be totally fine, but now it's still kind of in that tweener stage. It's grateful it wasn't worse. And here is Desmond with the disc in the red zone for Fury. And 4 for 7 in the red zone so far. Griffith. There's a little contact, but no call. Brute Squad's disc.
That shot just bounced in and out of the breadbasket. It was a nice put, nice find from Finney.
Looked like a good no call, and at the other end, deep shot finds Groom. How about that elevator backhand to get the reset? Douglas Brute Squad player shaken up. Vicky Chen had a great block early in the Sixers game and pool play that helped set the tone. That Brute Squad win. Collision between Finney and Wong. And this is one of those plays, Megan. I think Finney got the disc first. But you can't make that bid without going through the offensive player more often than not.
Yeah.
Douglas has the break for Brute Squad. Boston leads 6-5, and we're back on serve late in the first half.
There we see Finney getting the disc first, but putting so much body contact into Wong is why that disc remained in Boston Brute Squad's possession. Douglas getting open with ease, which has not been the case so far this game. Brute Squad has really had to fight for open space. That's just about one of the easier cuts I've seen Brute Squad be able to make against Fury's defense.
Couple assists for Angela Zhu. She will stay out there for this Boston D point as they try to create some separation. They led 2-0. Fury quickly answered 3 in a row. See the break chances. Boston's had a few more. 2 breaks apiece at this stage. 11 points into the semifinals. This is the first of 4 games that we'll have for you today on ESPN 3. Coming up next, Philadelphia Amp and Fort Collins, Colorado Shame in the mixed division. That'll be a 2:30 local time start, 5:30 Eastern. And then the 2 men's semifinals in prime time tonight, 5:30 and 8 o'clock local time, 8:30 and 11 p.m. Eastern. With Pony taking on Machine, and then Ring against Sockeye. And here's Boston Brute Squad's 9th break opportunity of the half. Zhu has an open target, but a pick was called, and this disc is going back. Megan, over the course of the weekend, I've seen Fury's tight defense get to a lot of teams. Boston Brute Squad almost feels like they thrive off it. Like they love the challenge, they love the competitiveness, they love that the windows are tighter, and they're able to handle it better than any other team in the division. Groom dropped it. And Cammie shaken up. Leanne Hoffman coming out, coming into the game. Groom steps off.
You know, nobody ever wants to see Cammie walk off the field injured, but it's so nice to have a defender as fierce as Hoffman be able to replace a defender as capable as Cammie Groom.
Nazaroff keeps the chain going to Marika Austin. I beg your pardon, that's Kirsten Johnson. That was a doomed throw from the start. Tight window, 2 defenders, Trope and Zhu. give them half block each. Werfeli overshoots Zhu, but such float on the disc. Of course, another Dartmouth player runs it down, Caitlin Lee. Back to Zhu. Zhu, incomplete. Hoffman and Sadler were both there, and neither could make the play.
It was a good put. Sadler made the appropriate layout. Like her hand was just an inch too high.
Now 13 turnovers for Brute Squad, 8 of which we would characterize as unforced. And Fury unable to connect. Howard's bid comes up shy. The 5th turnover of the point, and now Brute Squad with another chance to go back up by 2, and that disc hung on to Angela Zhu to Nicole Canning. Three in a row from Boston.
That end zone offense was a great example of what you were talking about earlier, Evan, how disciplined the Brute Squad offense is at keeping space open. Cuts would come hard from the back of the stack, and they would clear instantly, which is why every time you look down the field, there was a ton of space open on the break side, a ton of space open on the open side. And the downfielders just kept churning those cuts in, waiting for the handlers to have the right shot.
So it was 2-0 Brute Squad. Fury scored 3 in a row. The teams traded for the next 4 points. And since then, Brute Squad has scored 3 in a row. And a timeout taken here as we take another look at the 2019 season results. Scandal got off to the good start at Pro Elite. Disappointing finish, though, for Scandal, falling in pre-quarters to an upstart Raleigh Phoenix team. Brute Squad was the big winner at the U.S. Open, coming back to beat Revolution in the final. Great women's team from Medellin, Colombia. Boston Siege making their presence felt, their first appearance at Nationals, the only first-time participant at Nationals in the women's division this year. San Francisco Fury, after winning pro championships, a no-doubt #1 seed here at Nationals, Megan, and their performance so far certainly hasn't done much to dissuade you from that belief that they are head and shoulders above the field until here in the semifinals, when we've seen a little shakiness from Fury in these conditions, and more relevantly, the Brute Squad pressure.
Right. I have just been so high on Fury's offense this season. It has looked so seamless, so consistent. And today, it just looks like they're not dialed in. Shots are going just a little too wide, a little too high. So we've mentioned twice already, this is a slightly windy, gusty stadium. This is the first time they're playing in this stadium this tournament, but I still would have expected them to adjust a little bit faster.
Here's Nazaroff to Finney. Tulsa Douglas has a pretty good wingspan. Seems like a pretty good matchup for Finney. Missed throw there, but O'Connor in the right spot. Finney right down the seam for Desmond. Finney again, a little bit behind O'Connor, who got her fingertips on it, but unable to make the play. Brute Squad has a chance to take half here. And on the reset, Fury retakes possession on the goal line. Nazarov fires a fastball. Nazarov has never lacked heat on that flick. And she's hit Desmond for about 1,000 goals in their collective careers. 7-6.
Yeah, the Fury defense has really made Boston work for those resets. A little heat on that throw is not too much for Desmond.
Gotta say, Megan, Fury is a team that has so many great players. It doesn't usually feel like they're playing through one or two or three. But without Kayla Helton, and without Maggie Rudin, and without Yelena Gorlin, and Serge Griffith isn't 100%, it feels like it's Nazarov, Finney, Desmond, Howard. I mean, they've done a bunch of the heavy lifting so far in the semifinal.
No, I think that's a very fair point. I mean, Fury really works on making things a team-wide effort, not playing selfish offense. But still, each individual offers something unique, and you start to remove those unique pieces, and it changes it enough that they have to learn to adjust in the specific game. And we're watching Finney try to compensate for the many changes that they've experienced in this game in particular. And we're seeing it fluster them ever so slightly.
Good chunk of yards from Malinowski. Lana Schwalm was calling for it downfield. It's a wise holster by Malinowski. A lot of traffic in between Malinowski and the deep target. Senecrope swings it to Werfele. Disc will stay, picked downfield, did not impact the play. Maybe a contact call. Tajima resets Werfele. Malinowski. Certainly something that feels routine about this matchup on the big stage. Both coaches say they work really, really hard to try and make it feel this routine. Senecrope's in the end zone, and Brute Squad has taken it to half, up 8-6. Of the 14 points in the half, Megan, only 3 of them were completely turnover free. All 3 of those were Brute Squad O points, including this one.
That is impressive. I mean, they are displaying just a little more patience necessary. And Fury is getting in there. Fury is forcing some tough throws. In particular, I think Fury is doing a really good job of making the resets difficult. But Brute Squad firing wide, working the width of the field, is really making a difference this game.
Ian Toner standing by with Brute Squad coach Ariel Jackson.
Thanks, Evan. Coach Jackson, first half, huge game of runs. You guys deal with 2-0, 3-2, momentum swinging back and forth. How do you keep your team's energy on an even keel with so much volatility in the half?
I mean, I think we want high energy, right? We want to be not frantic, and that's where we were in the beginning of the first half. And so we address it from sort of a systematic level. It's, they're playing really tight, good defense. They're a great team, but we're kind of letting them get to us, right? We're making hard throws because they're tighter than we're used to. And so it's just reminding ourselves we don't need to take the hard throws. Let's move through our progressions quickly and take the easy throws from there.
Before the game, you mentioned that Fury has really powerful throwers that you want to make sure you contain and game plan against. How would you assess your team's defensive performance in that regard?
I think our defensive performance has been really great. They've had a couple deep shots that have gone too far. We're not afraid of the deep shots. We're still playing underneath and challenging them to do that, and I don't think they've had a ton of success doing it so far, so I'm pretty happy there.
What do you want to emphasize to the team in the halftime huddle?
We got to lean back into moving the disc real fast, especially when we're in vert. We want to take one look down the sideline, hit it if it's there. If not, bounce it, hit it to the other sideline, make the defense scramble all the time.
Last thing, any update on Cami Groom that you can share?
I haven't checked in with her yet, so I don't know.
Okay. Coach, thank you very much for your time. Go get to your huddle.
Thanks.
Evan and Megan, back up to you.
Great stuff, Ian. Thanks so much. Cami, she looks okay. I hope we'll see her again. Gotta be feeling pretty good because of the score. Brute Squad with 3 breaks, Fury with 2. Two-score lead at the half. Boston Brute Squad leading the 2-time defending national champion San Francisco Fury 8-6 at halftime. These two teams played in the championship game each of the past 2 years. Both those went to the wire with Fury winning 14-13. Feels like another tight game, Megan. We'll check out the first half highlights. Brute Squad, good start to the half, good finish to the half. Fury got some points in between. What do you like about what Brute Squad did?
You know, as Ariel Jackson said, they are forcing Fury under, challenging those long throws. The wind has been helping make those long throws ineffective, which has put the disc in Brute Squad's hand. When they are on offense, as Ariel said, they are working really hard to move the disc side to side to try and stay ahead of that intense Fury pressure.
That goal from Anna Nazaroff got Fury on the board. And after trailing 2-0, Fury scored 3 in a row to take the lead. Fury has not really played from behind all tournament long.
Right, it's a new position for them without a doubt. They are having to work just a little bit harder on offense, I imagine, than they have worked all tournament, and that can take just a few moments to adjust. We've seen moments like this. I think that was the most Fury-like Fury's offense has looked this entire game. And then again, the discipline needed in front of the end zone, waiting for the appropriate shot to open up, keeping those lanes open, cuts clearing appropriately, has enabled Brute Squad to put in goals, not with ease, but certainly effectively.
But I think discipline, and that's the word you used, and I think that's perfect. And you can just tell how much Brute Squad has drilled these end zone situations. Everyone on the field knows what every other player is going to do, depending on what the defense does, depending on where the disc goes. And that fluidity is evident on the biggest stage in the biggest game, and that's what you count on as a coach.
Right. Ari has a lot to be proud of this particular half. I'm sure he's going to work on dialing things in even a little bit more to improve their chances in the second half.
All right, when we come back, we'll chat with the San Francisco coaching staff. Fury trailing by 2 at the half in our first semifinal of the day.
Welcome back to halftime at the USA Ultimate National Championships. We're here in the first women's semifinal. Fury trailing Boston Brute Squad 8-6. I'm here joined by Fury team leader Nancy Sun. Nancy, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. This is the first time that Fury has been trailing at halftime here in this tournament. How does that feel for your team right now?
I think it's nothing unusual for us. I mean, when we battle at practice, it's always games that go back and forth. And we've been preparing for this moment for all season, and so I think we're ready.
Before the game, Coach Matty Sang said he really wanted to emphasize your offensive tempo, getting that unit to play with pace. How do you think your team has done in that regard here in the first half?
I think we're continuing to battle, and I think this has been a game of just like us continuing to knock down that door. And I can't wait to see that pay off dividends in the second half, both with our defense, making them work really hard, and with our offense. I think we're going to start seeing some better tempo in the second half.
What was the message to the team gathered at the halftime huddle?
Hey, there's a big platter out there in front of us, and it's our job to go and take it.
All righty. Well, Nancy, thank you for your time. Best of luck in the second half. Fury trailing Brute Squad 8-6 here in the semifinals of the USA Ultimate National Championships. Thanks, Yvonne.
We are moments away from the start of the second half, but first a quick look at the first half scoring summary. Cami Groom and Amber Sinacrope highly involved in the Brute Squad offense, and Angela Zhu playing on the D-line picks up 3 assists. Couple goals for Claire Desmond leading the way for Fury. It is San Francisco on offense to start the second half. They trail by 2 and will need to outbreak Boston by 2 in the second half to win this game. Near the sideline, incomplete. Finney understandably sidetracked by the white line over there. And Angela Zhu picks it up about 3 yards from the goal line. Stall count rising. Oh, what a throw by Angela Zhu. Claire Trope hauls it in for the Brute Squad break.
The second half starting much like the first, a fairly quick, unforced Fury turnover. What should have been an easy reset just sailed out of bounds, and then Brute Squad so fast to capitalize.
And this throw with the touch on it, I mean, bending it around the mark, tight space. You could tell Finney was expecting it as she got near the T and 10. Angela Zhu has been so good this tournament for Brute Squad. Now 4 assists here in the finals, or in the semifinals. Toronto Sixers awaits. What kind of resistance do you expect Sixers to put up against the winner of this one tomorrow?
Well, we've seen them beat Brute Squad before. Sixers has an amazing defense. They have some great individual athletes who will go out and get the disc consistently. And then I've been really impressed with the O they play once their D gets the turnover. Offensively, they've got a lot of firepower. They move very, very quickly. If your team is not prepared to defend, then they will step ahead of you and just burn you.
Fury going downwind here, trailing by 3. Finney stays out there. Here's Griffith. Brute Squad obviously with a lot of different defenders to throw at Finney. Kramer's got her this time, and that crossfield shot challenged by the defense of Courtney Verhollen lands on the turf. Brute Squad's disc. Through the hands of Zhao. Johnson. And Finney. Pick called. Kaler, ambitious. Got it. Kaler's a player, Megan, that competes with spunk, finding Griffith with a break inside flick to make it 9-7.
What a great word to describe Kaler. You see Griffith making that cut. She goes to throw the backhand. It's not there because of her defense. And so instantly she pulls in and puts that inside put. With this wind, it is not an easy throw to make, but she's determined to get it to Griffith.
Well, Kaler's stock has been rising as a player, and she has assumed a role on this team that is comparable to the World Games stars that everybody knows, like Nazaroff and Finney and Howard and Desmond and Payne and Griffith. And they have 6 players who have played the World Games teams relatively recently. There's a look at it. Hoffman and Groom, Brute Squad's World Games contributors. Obviously, Maddie Sang has been a part of the coaching staff along with Alex Gesquier in the last 2 cycles, 2013 in Kali, Colombia, 2017 in Wrocław, Poland. Ooh, that was close. Sinikrop a little indecisive there about whether to catch the pull or whether to let it land. A reminder, if you catch it and drop it, it's a turnover. Not sure that was intended for Hoffman, but she's got it nonetheless. Here's Schwam throwing into the traffic, but finds Malinowski. Reset for Sinacro. And downfield Schwam. And into the end zone, but denied. Looking for Grignon Tomas, but Austin continues to play remarkable defense on the French-Canadian star.
And that is a prime example of why those narrow inside shots into the end zone are so tricky to make, because the defense can make a pretty quick bid like that. Certainly hope that Austin is okay.
Good to see Marika Austin walk off under her own power. It will be Fury's disc. That was the first Fury D since the 5th point of the game, and a half-field shot to Kaler. To the middle of the field to Payne. Here's Narayan. Timeout taken. Fury with the disc. About 11 yards from the goal line, and a chance to get back within 1.
Veteran move from a veteran player, recognizing the importance of this position, trying to get back up this early in the second half. Narayan says, let's take a minute, set ourselves up exactly the way we want. But a nice string of throws from Fury to get them just on the doorstep.
And something we talked about off the air at halftime, Megan, as we saw Nancy Sun unleash that half-field flick into the wind. And you wonder if Fury's got a number 4 jersey lying around, and if Alex Snyder could throw it. I mean, there isn't a better thrower in the wind in the last decade of the sport than Alex Snyder.
Yeah, when I think back to the 2017 Nationals championship, it was Snyder who took the team on her back. And again, that's saying a lot. Fury is such an amazingly talented team. And for Snyder to be able to just take charge has always been an absolutely outstanding element of her game.
Good quick disc movement here out of the timeout from Fury. Nazaroff. Over to Lynn. Nazaroff to Kaler. She's in the end zone. Tajima did all she could, bidding off the mark. But Kaler's got the score, and we've got a 1-goal game.
Kaler booked it to get from one side of the field to the other for that score. She is definitely starting to take charge.
Tajima was, I don't know, 3 inches away from getting her hand on that. Maybe less than that.
That was incredible.
Fury now 3 of 6 on break chances.
Nobody knows this better than Brute Squad. Do not discount Fury when they are down. Yeah, I was completely unsurprised by Nancy Sun's very calm demeanor when Ian asked, how does the team feel playing from behind? She said, it's fine. We beat each other up at practice. This is nothing for us. I truly believe that's not just a face she's putting on, but that Fury has no doubt in their ability to play the systems the way they want to and come back in a game like this one.
Game to 15. Got about 13 minutes until the soft cat, at which point you add 2 to the higher score, and that becomes the new destination. Winner gets a date with the Toronto Sixers at 10 a.m. local time here in San Diego tomorrow. The loser spends the entire offseason wondering what might have been. Through to Jima's hands. Picked up by Sun. Deep shot. Griffith. Got it! Incredible throw from Carolyn Finney that narrowly got past the defender Cami Groom, and it surged to tie it at 9. The vision, the execution, the confidence.
Yeah, calling for her shots yet again. What a put. Cami Groom so close to tipping that disc.
We said at the top how small margins have decided the matchups in recent years between these two programs. That goes for the score and also for every goal. There's a throw or two on the point where an inch makes all the difference. So we're tied at 9. I wonder if Toronto Sixers are back at their hotel watching this game and rooting actively for a particular result. I mean, I'm sure they're thrilled to be in the finals. They'll give their best game to whoever. Practically, and I know sports aren't always practical, they've beaten Brute Squad. They've been competitive with Brute Squad. Their one game against Fury this year was 15-4.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that it would be nice that the Sixers feel it would be nice to go up against a team they have a little more experience against. And of course have notched a couple of big victories over.
Positive experience, more importantly.
Right, although they did not look as strong against Brute Squad in the first half of their game here at Nationals.
No, it looked like a completely different thing. It's hard to believe that they beat them at regionals, watching the game here at Nationals. They did play well in the second half, though. They won the second half.
Right.
Outscored Brute Squad 9-7 after halftime, despite falling 15-10 in pool play. How about 3 teams from that one pool making it to the semifinals? Schwa goes 1-2 in pool play with just a win over Minneapolis Pop. And then beats Molly Brown in a gigantic quarterfinal upset. Obviously Sixers getting past Riot. And there's Cami Groom. Gives Brute Squad the lead, 10-9. The Boston offense turnover free for the 4th time in the game.
But again, certainly not without pressure. But they have seemed to dial it in. And Coach Ariel Jackson talked about this. He wanted to make sure that they moved the disc more quickly, allowing their system to grind faster so that they could stay ahead of the defense. Don't know if it's still at the speed that he was hoping for at this point, but it is being successful, so he, I'm certain, is pleased about that.
Three goals for Groom. Angela Zhu not going to the sideline. Another deep point. She's ready to go. Worth mentioning again, that's the 4th turnover-free hold from the Boston O-line. Fury has not had a turnover-free hold yet in this game.
Which is simply shocking to me based on how they looked at pro championships in particular. I thought they looked great at US Open. They were still clearly workshopping some things, which for Fury means that they still looked great, but they weren't quite at the speed that we saw them at pro championships. Here, a new challenge that they are really struggling to adjust to.
That could not have been the intended plan. Just got out of bounds, and it went out of bounds on the fly, so Fury will be able to center this disc. Nazaroff will start across midfield, just 30 yards from the goal line. Active mark from Canning, and then a laser beam flick, finding Finney. Nazaroff again. Good float that time to Johnson. Pretty good handler defense from Canning, but Nazaroff able to secure the reset. There's a pick downfield, and now the handlers realize it too. Pretty good line out there for Fury Meagles. Nazaroff, Finney, Desmond, Griffith. With Johnson. This is McKeever. Little collision between Finney and Canning. Canning and Zoo switching defensive assignments midpoint. What a catch, reaching backwards. Griffith in the end zone. Just an all-world grab right there from one of the greats.
Oh, that's incredible. Too fast for the throw, but never you mind. She will get it anyway.
There's that turnover free hold you've been waiting for from the Fury O-line. And you could tell Finney wanted that one back. I mean, she had space to the outside to hit Griffith. Great adjustment to halt that momentum and make the play. Surge obviously had such an emotional couple of seasons, winning Worlds last year with Riot and then winning Nationals with Fury, catching the goal that eliminated her former team in the semifinals of that Fury Riot Classic. Now in her second year with the San Francisco team that she worked for so many years to try and beat. 10-10 second half.
It is very impressive how seamlessly Griffith has worked into the Fury offense. Not that you have to strive too hard to infuse that kind of speed into your offense. But that is Griffith's third goal for today and third goal of this half. So she is definitely stepping her game up.
Past champions, Fury back-to-back, Brute Squad back-to-back, Scandal back-to-back, and before that, Fury had won 7 in a row. There have been only 3 teams that have won Nationals in a long time in the women's division. Gotta go back to Riot in 05 to find somebody else, and there's a crazy streak that is on the line here today, Megan. In each of the last 18 years, either Fury or Riot, or both, have made the final. If Brute Squad wins this game, that 18-year streak would come to an end.
Wow. Yeah, this is Fury's semifinal appearance. They've made the semifinals every year since '99, except in 2004.
So this is their 15th straight year in the semis. That's the far and away the longest current streak in the sport.
Yeah.
Be a little strange later tonight to see the men's semifinals without San Francisco Revolver. They've made it every year this decade except for 2014. Getting eliminated by Chicago Machine in yesterday's quarterfinal over at the Surf Cup Sports Park. Tight space. Well done. Grignon Tomas hauls in the laser beam from Juliana Werfeli.
Now she's been quiet most this game, but not surprising, the first stat she adds to her sheet is a great grab in the end zone. Malinowski dishing to Werfeli, who watches Grignon Thomas cut in that disc just a little bit low, but Grignon Thomas digs it out.
And, you know, it's been Marika Austin who's been guarding Jessie Grignon Thomas for most of the game. She got shaken up, and I wouldn't say that Jessie burned Sharon Lynn by any means, but it's a matter of inches.
Yep, all she needs is a step, and she had it.
That tripod is precariously close to the sideline over there.
Asking to get knocked over.
All righty, 11-10 Boston. The last time that neither Fury or Riot made a final, back in the year 2000, and Portland Schwa made it that year. Schwa went to the finals 3 times in 4 years, 97, 99, and 2000. Boston Lady Godiva won the 5th of their 7 championships in 2000. That was the 5th in the stretch of 7 and 8 years. They also won a couple before that. Brute Squad with an opportunity to try to seize control here. Soft cap's gonna go on in about 45 seconds. Could be before this point ends unless Brute Squad strikes fast.
That was a great defense from Kaler.
That disc rising over Sadler, deflected. A couple players got a hand on it. Tropes calling foul. Bree Howard with a smile on her face disagrees.
Disagreeing as respectfully as possible.
Yeah, that's not a foul.
No.
We're going to start with the ground check.
Agree
We're
with
gonna start with the
us. Slight contact, but that's not a foul by any definition that we've come to know and recognize in the sport.
Yeah, and the disc was completely uncatchable by the time contact was made.
Low throw, oh, what a catch! Carolyn Finney barely got to her feet before rifling downfield for Kaler. And then zipping it for Desmond through the tight space. And Desmond calling for an injury. Low throw from Nazaroff, and Finney saved her. And no conservation of Finney's greatness.
Yeah.
Did Desmond get her ankle tangled up there? Maybe a little bit. Hope she'll be able to walk it off in return. Lou's got the disc. Kaler, another slide and grab. Finney, not that time. Second turn of the point for Fury. And the soft cap will go on after this point. It'll either be 12-10 game to 14 or 11-all game to 14. Here's Douglas shooting it. Groom accelerating. She's got it. Cami Groom exploding past Amel Awadel Kareem for the Brute Squad score.
If you had any question as to how fast Groom was, you are about to understand how fast. She did not have position when the disc went up.
didn't cause any
Kareem was
hesitation.
in front. And zoom, Cami Groom ran around her defender in front, straight to the end zone.
This is the first Huck goal of the game for either team, characterizing a Huck as more than half the field. 12-10, Boston. And Fury finds themselves needing to score 4 of the next 5 goals against this Brute Squad superpower. Obviously a great history in Boston Ultimate. Mentioned Lady Godiva and all the titles they won dating back to the 80s. Great visiting with Suzanne Fields, who won the first women's title with the Boston Ladies Ultimate Blue back in 1981. They first had a women's division. Brute Squad winning a title in 2015 and 2016 after they broke through to semis in 2014. They've been in the semis every year. They've been in the finals each of the last 4 years, trying to make it 5 in a row. Can Fury overcome another deficit? Kaler looking for a couple targets. McKeever and Howard both were there, and Howard, off the deflection, makes the adjustment to the end zone. It's incomplete. Oh, Cree Howard wants that throw back.
A great save followed by just a less than perfect throw.
Deep shot from Brute Squad. Guess who? Cami Groom behind the last Fury defender to make the catch. Chow to the end zone. Boston up by 3. Game to 14. Brute Squad within 1. Erin Ray hauls in her first goal of the semis.
What a put. And that Huck knocking Fury completely onto their heels, leaving the front corner of the end zone open for Boston to capitalize on. What a phenomenal put from Zoo.
In the last 14 years, San Francisco Fury has only missed the final twice. That was 2015 and 2016. They're on the brink of elimination here. Brute Squad has all the momentum, scoring 3 in a row. And this is the group of San Francisco players that will try to begin the uphill comeback. Now coming into this game, Fury had a number of injuries. Helton, Rudin, Gorlin, Griffith, Awadel Kareem not 100%. Here's Nazaroff shooting it. Finney going deep, and she's got it. So a very quick turnover-free hold from San Francisco there.
Great shot from Nazaroff, but I want to point out Finney's wherewithal. She keeps the end zone line in her periphery, stutters her steps towards the end so that she can jump, grab, get in the end zone. No messing around for Finney this point.
Carolyn Finney helped Fury win the Pro Championships. It's amazing to realize that that was their first regular season tournament victory since 2015. They're in the semis for the 15th consecutive year. The consistent success of this program is unparalleled. And yet Boston Brute Squad, over the course of the last 5 years, has been Fury's equal. Now, it's Fury's decade. There's no doubt about that. They've won 5 championships since 2010. But over the second half of the decade, you could argue Brute Squad would win the second half of this decade, these past 5 years, if Brute Squad can finish off this win. Brute Squad on offense. Sinekrope, Werfeli, Hoffman, Grignon-Thomas, Schwam, Malinowski, and Tajima. The 7 that will try to end it here. Incomplete. A drop from Schwam. The door a little more open for San Francisco. Finney. There's no way this is going to work, right? It almost did with Payne in the vicinity, but Grignon-Thomas knocked it to the ground.
A foul called on the throw.
That's interesting. Imagine Malinowski will argue she had her leg in the space, but it's close to a straddle. Smart play by Finney. I'm curious how this will be resolved. It's uncontested.
No contest. The only one. Let's wait till everyone's reset. They're still not set yet. You're good.
Finney's throw read perfectly by Narayan. Finney again looking for Payne. Hoffman peeled off, and Hoffman skies over the crowd. In case you forgot how good Leanne Hoffman was, there's a reminder. This full field shot, and Malinowski's calling a foul on Finney. Take a look. What do you see, Meagles?
So I wouldn't have thought that it was a foul either. It looked like Malinowski kind of lost sight of the Frisbee. And even though she and Finney tangled up a little bit, I thought the misread would have caused her to miss the disc, not the incidental contact.
I agree with you. Almost Malinowski the one initiating contact.
Yeah.
So, Fury with 70 yards to go. And the tight defense from Boston forces another deep shot that Hoffman ensures will land incomplete. 4 turnovers on the point. Can Brute Squad eliminate Fury? That, by the way, is not something that Boston has ever done at Nationals as Brute Squad. Hoffman. Stall count rising, floating into the end zone. Fury not done yet.
Stall count rising. Hoffman knows her best chance is to toss it into the end zone. I think I would have made the disc ride the sideline just a little bit more.
Sinekrope got her fingers on
Yeah.
that.
There was a lot of defense to have to run through.
Sun picks up in the goal line to Narayan. Here's Finney. to Griffith. Austin back out there. Anna Reed with a nice cut. Five turnovers on this point. And after a bunch of high stall count or early stall count hucks that didn't really have clear targets, Fury doing a nice job working it patiently.
Yeah, the other O possessions, it looks like they've been trying to score 3 points in a single possession. Now they've dialed it back and are trying to take the open shots as opposed to forcing it.
Uncontested. Stall coming in at 1. Narayan marked by Grignon Thomas. Tough grab by Sun. And the Brute Squad is doing a pretty good job, Megan. Knowing that any throw going deep is into the wind, so they're almost trying to take away the unders. And here's the deep shot, looking for Griffith. Grignon Thomas peels off, and it's a battle. Some pretty fierce contact. And one of those plays that, frankly, is inevitable if you play Ultimate. Both players have a right for that disc. I think Grignon Thomas got there first by a split second. She did.
Yeah.
Want some help?
This is the type of play that confuses me. And the rules are going to change from this year to next year. And I'm not sure whose responsibility it is here to not go for the disc. Because, not necessarily by the rules, but that's a dangerous play, the way we play our game. And, you know, sports can be dangerous.
Yeah.
A certain level of contact is inevitable. I would love an answer from the head of the Observer Committee, USA Ultimate, on how that play is supposed to be handled by the players and the observers and everybody else.
Right, it is confusing because they were both running towards the disc. As you said, they both had it right, and they both jumped straight up, but the momentum with which they had been running caused them to collide.
Grignon Thomas fires deep, and Malinowski is unable to haul it in. And with that, this has officially become the longest point of the game in terms of the turnover count. It's number 7. Kaler to Sun. She'll fire a flick. Hoffman was right there next to Payne. They each had a shot at it and whiffed.
You know, I have been playing Ultimate a long time. 2006 was my first nationals. I have watched Fury play so many times, and I feel like this is the most flustered I have seen them.
And yet their defense continues to stand
generate
strong.
Opportunities, absolutely.
Finney picks off the deep shot. Kaler up the line. Payne dropped it again. Wow. Tajima rips it. Malinowski unable to haul it in. Each team has had a boatload of chances.
What should have been a surefire shot is bobbled by Payne.
And Fury just threw it away again, looking for Opie going deep.
My goodness.
Before this point, There had only been as many as 6 turnovers on a point. That had just happened once. Each team has turned it 6 times on this so important point. And there's number 7 for Brute Squad. Is this fatigue?
I don't know. These look more like mental lapses to me.
Mental fatigue's a thing. Werfele ripped it away. Hannah Reed right there. Let's see.
It looked to me like Reed had it first.
You guys want to send it back or you want a ruling?
Simultaneous possession does go to the offense.
First, ripped it out of her hands.
All righty. Good swing there from Reed. Very aggressive mark from Malinowski. And she tried to switch. Narayan went deep. And Groom peeled off. And Austin is just hanging out for the score. Fury within 1 after a marathon 25th point in the semifinal.
Now that very clearly looked like Reed had it first. And then Kaler with a shot that sails over Narayan, but Austin is there to save it.
When Brute Squad goes back and watch the coach's film, I mean, a lot happened on that point, but Malinowski peeling off to try to, put a little double team quasi on the mark. Narayan took off, Broom peeled off. Broom was guarding Austin, and that freed up the open Fury receiver in the end zone. So that was an upwind score. And now Fury will be pulling, but they'll be pulling downwind. And Brute Squad will have their 3rd chance to try and close this out. They led 13-10. What a wild point that was for Fury to inch back within 1.
Coach Jackson is a very system-based coach. I'm sure he's telling his squad right now, we have the skills necessary. We have the program design necessary for you to go out and maintain possession all the way down to the end zone. Just run your sets, run them quickly. Don't try and do anything untoward. Let's stick with what we know. It has worked for us in this game.
For Fury, it's Austin, Narayan, Lynn, Finney, Kaler, Johnson out there as well. Boston with Douglas Trope, Groom, Angela Zhu out there too, with Lauren Sadler. I mean, Brute Squad, despite Fury's momentum, still very much in the driver's seat. Fury needs 2 more breaks to win. But if there's any team that can get 2 breaks in this spot, it is the iconic San Francisco Fury. Pulls in bounds. Center to Zhu. Trope. Douglas. Just a handler dominator so far. The cutting not doing much downfield until Groom broke free from the stack. And it dropped by Zhu. This is getting mighty interesting. Nazarov picks up. Johnson. A laser. Austin's got it. No mark for a moment. Kaler to the end zone. We're tied. Fury has scored 3 straight. And for the 4th consecutive year, Brute Squad plays a Universe Point game in the semis or the finals. This is the 3rd year in a row that Brute and Fury go to the distance with everything on the line in the bracket.
You know, I would say it is incredible if I hadn't seen it so many times before. That is Kaylor's 2nd assist in a row, her 3rd for this half, in addition to the 1 goal she has under her belt. It is always fascinating to see who on Fury is going to step up when the team needs him. And Kaylor has just played hot this half.
Wow, wow, wow. Kaylor to Narayan to punctuate the point. Both teams regroup. All the team meetings, all the group meet messages, all the track practices, all the regular practices, all the film study, all the sweat and blood and tears and effort, everything all comes down to this next 1 point for these 2 great programs. Better believe Bethany Kaylor is going to be on the field with Austin, Finney, Nazaroff, Narayan, Anna Reed, Opie Payne also out there. Doesn't look like Serge Griffith is going to be back on the field, though. See Alex Snyder out in the field doing some coaching as well. Ariel Jackson has his strongest 7 on the line. Hoffman, Wong, Groom, Zhu, Douglas, Werfele, and Trope. Payne will pull. Whoever scores next wins and will face the Toronto Sixers for a championship tomorrow. Across midfield, Groom. Here's Douglas. To Zhu. Marika Austin just got the block and there is no call. Austin shaken up. She will go to the sidelines. Cree Howard will replace her. Insane stuff from Marika Austin. In her 5th year on Fury. Oh, by the way, she went to Dartmouth too. Nazaroff to Payne. She'll take the shot. Narayan and Howard both nearby, but it's Douglas who ripped it away and then got drilled by her teammate Trope.
Really, I feel like an ill-advised throw. It just didn't have enough sail to it, and there were plenty of Brute Squad defenders close by in good position.
Douglas, the D, and she's now on the sidelines, replaced by Amber Sinacrope, who initiates possession after the 2nd turnover here on Universe Point. A spot And the championship game hanging in the balance as Reed make contact with Werfele. She plays through it. Werfele rips it. Trope takes off late, but that's a perfect throw, and Claire Trope has it 1 yard away from the goal line. Groom back to Trope. Boston survives. Brute Squad eliminates Fury. Another wild game with a classic finish between Fury and Brute Squad. And it'll be Boston and Toronto in the final tomorrow.
What a great read and great grab by Trope. And so smart, she dishes right behind her and cuts straight to the end zone, leaving her defender absolutely reeling. Oh man, what a shot from Werfele.
For the first time since the year 2000, the USA Ultimate Club National Championship game will feature two teams, neither of which is San Francisco Fury or Seattle Riot. How about that? It had to be this score, right? The third year in a row, 14-13. Last 2 years, Fury beat Brute by that score in the final. This year, Claire Trope plays for Boston. And with her second goal, she sends Brute Squad to the final. Unbelievable. It'll be the fourth straight year in the women's division that the #1 seed does not win the championship as well. Last to do it was Brute Squad in 2015. Brute Squad, Sixers, tomorrow. We'll have more on this one when we return. The USA Ultimate National Championships are brought to you by Discraft, home of the Ultra Star, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Now featuring an updated website to make ordering custom discs easier than ever. Visit discraft.com for all your custom disc needs. Another thriller between Brute Squad and Fury. This one goes to the women from Boston, one of which, Cammie Groom, a standout again. She stands by with Ian.
Thanks, Evan. Cammie, the last two seasons have ended on different notes at the hands of this Fury squad from San Francisco. How does it feel to exact some revenge and earn a fifth straight championship game berth?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a privilege to play in that game against that team. That is where we wanted to be, especially given the adversity we faced earlier in the season, not performing to the best of our abilities. But we wanted to be here against the best team, the team that plays the best D against us and really challenges us. And just so much pride in my teammates and my coaching staff right now for the game we put together. We love the grind, and that's what I felt like we came out here and showed today.
That universe point before the poll, what's going through your mind after Fury has refused to quit and been keeping that game point situation alive multiple points in a row?
You know, it was just pure confidence. It's like looking at the line, looking at your teammates, knowing what you've been through together, knowing what you're capable of, and just fully trusting that we're going to punch it in, whether that be the first time or if we have to play D after the turn, we're going to love that grind and just keep grinding until we punch it in.
National championship game tomorrow against Sixers, a team you all know so well. 1-2 against them this season, but that one victory coming here earlier at this tournament. What's the key to beating them tomorrow?
You know, I think it's bringing the same defensive effort and offensive effort as well that we brought today. Just the effort, the love for each other, the joy for the game. That's really what we hope to showcase tomorrow, and I think if we do that, we'll put on a very good show.
Cammie, congratulations on the win. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you very much.
Evan and Megan, back up to you.
Yeah, great stuff, Ian. It's pretty wild, Megan. No Seattle, no San Francisco, but it'll be Boston and Toronto, a Northeast final at Championship Sunday at Nationals. That is virtually unprecedented. Our Discraft play of the game, the final sequence, the Huck from Werfeli that Claire Trope wasn't really cutting for, but she went for it when it went up, and she ran it down.
Yeah, and held on with fantastic fashion, and then dished it right outside the end zone, ran in. I mean, it was the smartest way you could handle this play, and that's why they walked off victorious.
Just barely. They led 13-10, let Fury score 3 in a row. Some wild marathon points mixed in there. Fury had the momentum, but Boston closes it out. Universe Point thriller to take down the 1 seed. So it's the 4 seed and the 5 seed. Toronto Sixers and Boston Brood Squad. A matchup not many predicted, but we will see it tomorrow. And again, Brood Squad, I think most will consider them the favorite, but they're 1-2 against the Sixers this year. Did beat them pretty soundly at Nationals, but we'll see what this strong group of women from Toronto can do. Wow, what a way to start our quadruple header of semifinal coverage on this Saturday here in San Diego. San Francisco Fury, an example for anybody who follows the sport, and undoubtedly we will hear from them again and again and again. But 2019 will not belong to the women from the Bay Area in Northern California. It'll either be Boston or Toronto in the women's division, because it's Boston Brood Squad eliminating Fury 14-13. Shame and Amp coming up next. The first mixed semifinal that we've got for you. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. But for now, on behalf of our entire crew, for Ian Toner and Megan Tormey, Evan Lepler saying so long from San Diego. And congrats to Brood Squad. We'll see them in the final tomorrow.